Hi everyone, my name is Megan Bresnahan and I'm going to teach you how to prepare for a job interview. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step procedure in order to do well at your first interview. And it's really important to prepare for a job interview because for anything professional, it's not good to just wing it. And when a job is on the line, you really want to prepare sufficiently for it so you can do well and eventually land the job. So the first thing you need to have is a resume. So a resume is pretty much just a sheet of paper. You can make it on Microsoft Word, and it includes things such as your education, your accomplishments, your job history, what you've been doing for the past couple of years, some references of maybe previous bosses that you really liked, and your qualifications for the job. And this is really important to have because this is what your interview will be based off of. Your interviewer will have definitely read this before you came in, and you guys will go over it during the interview, so you want to be aware of what you have on there so you guys can go over it. So you want to be aware of the company that you're applying for as well. So maybe if it's a chain such as Not Your Average Joe's, or maybe if it's a nonprofit company, you just want to get an idea of what they're about. So you want to do some research on your company, and it's so easy to use the internet to do research. You want to find out maybe the goals of the company, their mission, their accomplishments, what they've been up to in the past years. You want to spend a decent amount of time on this too, maybe an hour. So you also want to find things about their reputation, maybe how their employees feel about the bosses, maybe the treatment of the employees, their annual salaries, things like that. And also you want to be aware of the position you will be playing in the company if you eventually land the job. So you could ask your interviewer something like, what role will I be playing within this company? Who will I be working with, like your coworkers? Maybe who will my boss be? Will I be the boss of anybody? Will I be managing anybody? Maybe if there's a chance for moving up in the company, for a raise, something like that. So like we prepare for speeches, you really need to prepare for a job interview. And it's so easy to find question and answers for interviews online. So I'll show you. So here's my phone, and I'm just going to type in I'm going to type in common interview questions. And it's the first one that pops up. So I'm going to click it, and then it brings up how to answer the 31 most common interview questions. So it's so easy to find these questions online. So the first question that came up on this website is, can you tell me a little about yourself? Also, how did you hear about the position? What do you know about the company? So like we just talked about before, it's really important to have some of these answers in your head already because you definitely will be asked a lot of common interview questions in every single interview that you apply for. So it's nice just to have a head start so you're not caught off guard and you have the answers in your head if someone does ask you them. So going along with this topic, you want to have a couple stories ready just in case your interview asks you for a story about a time you had at work. So an example could be maybe a time that you and a coworker had an issue. How did you resolve this? Or maybe even like, do you remember a time where you felt really proud at work? Like what was the accomplishment that you did? Something like that, just so you have it on the top of your head because sometimes it's really hard to think of a story on the spot. So once you have all of this done, once you've researched your questions, you have a couple stories in your head, you want to rehearse them. And it's really important to rehearse because then you just get more confident in speaking these answers out loud. You can check your volume and maybe rehearse them in a mirror and get more familiar with how you look, how confident you look, things like that. So clothing is a big part of a job interview. You want to ask yourself, do I look the part? And when you're going into for an interview, you always want to look professional. You never want to be casual, no jeans, no tank tops. For men, it's almost always a business suit, definitely a tie. And for women, kind of the same thing. You want to wear a business suit, maybe a longer skirt, a blazer. You don't want to wear any tank tops or anything too revealing because your employer will definitely judge your outfit. And if you have a good outfit, then you will have a good first impression, which always helps. So this kind of leads into confidence. So confidence is really important for a job interview because you want to believe in yourself so your employer believes in you. So you want to stand up straight. As soon as you see your interviewer, you definitely want to shake their hand, introduce yourself, make eye contact with them. You don't want to be slouching in your seat or anything, because if you appear confident, then your employer will be confident that you will be able to perform your job really well. So first impression is everything in an interviewer. Like I said, you need to shake their hand, you need to smile, be friendly. So, the morning of the interview is really important. You need to wake up early, get a good start to your day. You don't ever want to be stressed or rushing out the door, because this will never result in a good interview. You want to have a good breakfast, maybe a banana and coffee, and relax. You also want to be aware of some smaller things like directions, traffic, where the office building is. You don't want to be running around trying to find where you're supposed to be interviewing. You want to have a full tank of gas, and just a little smaller things like your ID and a pen and paper to take things down. So now that you've listened to all my tips, I hope you guys can use them to go get hired eventually. Thank you.